Hello, my friends. I'm so excited to be here with two amazing women. We have Ashley Kuhn. She is the president of Blair Freeman, and Maranda Adams. She is the executive vice president. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
I want to mention that Ashley, she was in Metro Magazine as our game changer in October in 2021. And then we also had both Ashley and Maranda on the cover of Midland's Business Journal in November. So it's just really been great to get to know you ladies better. And you're doing some really amazing things with Blair Freeman construction company, along with other things. But let's just talk a little bit. I just want to know, how did you two meet, and what inspired you to create this company?
So Ashley and I both went to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. And so we met in Lincoln at school. And what inspired us to start our company is I had a challenging project. It was a challenging commercial project. Knew Ashley was in commercial development, called her up and said, friend, let's put our heads together and figure this out. And once we figured it out, we said that, how many people run into roadblocks trying to get a project done, trying to, get something off the ground and get it going. And so we said, we don't want people to stop when they run into those challenges. So let's create a company that's going to help people navigate all things construction.
Yeah. And what year did you guys found the company?
2018.
Yes.
So 2018.
Okay.
Is when we formally started. Yes. Like Miranda said, we went through that problem project first and then.
Yeah. And then decided to actually then create this and open doors. So yeah. Let's talk a little bit about some of the projects that you're working on right now.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So spans the width of A to Z. So we've got both owners representation with our company and we have construction. Owners representation was kind of born organically because there was a lot of folks that had projects that they didn't really know how to get from A to Z. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of it has gravitated towards North Omaha because I think just overall, that's kind of the next bubble for real estate. Yeah. And so we've got everything from historic churches that are getting converted over to collaborative space. We've got new construction homes all over North Omaha. We've got retail, huge mixed use development, behavioral health campuses. We've got a little bit of everything going everywhere.
Well, let me ask you this. This might be a little off the talking points. What are you most, what are you most excited about, or what are one of these projects or a couple that really just, gets you excited?
All of it.
Yeah, all of it.
It's just that idea that there has not been previous development, specifically in North Omaha, that's been on large scale. You've seen like a small project peppered in here, peppered in there. But when we put all of our clients together on a map, it really shows the transformation that's getting ready to happen.
And why do you feel, I know this is the next bubble. It's a part of town, like you said, that has not been developed. And things are really happening there. And why is it so important that this is happening now?
Because it's been a long time coming. North Omaha, like Ashley was saying, it's a area of town that a lot of things a ton hasn't been happening as far as development. And so Ashley was born and raised in North Omaha. My husband's family is deeply rooted in North Omaha, and to see just the development that's coming and all of the things that, the affordable housing that's coming, a lot of the commercial development, it's something that's needed, and everybody's just jumping on board. So it's been great.
Yeah. And I think from my perspective, when we talk about how neighborhoods that have been socially impacted negatively over time, the next wave is usually, that they get priced out of homes in the community that they live in, that new affordable housing gets built, but the community is not the ones that take advantage of that. And I think just from a holistic development standpoint, we wanted to make sure that the folks that have been there forever, that have suffered, at the hands of redlining or things like that, are able to stay there, and that the community really does come back to a mixed income, mixed use feel, that we're not just kicking everybody out of the neighborhood to bring brand new.
Yeah. So let's kind of look at a timeline too. How long has your company, was it kind of out of the gate when you started in 2018 that you started these projects there? And looking ahead, what are you looking at, from a timeline perspective?
So when we started our company, one of our first projects was in North Omaha at the campus of 75 North. So we did the dining hall there. So right out of the gates, we were in North Omaha, we were building, we were impacting and developing there. So as far as timeline, I mean, it's like the pedal to the metal, like whatever we can get our hands on, whatever we can do, we're really excited to just be a part of the development that's happening and being called on to be impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, so thinking about construction and development ecosystem in Omaha, what changes have you seen since your company's founding, and what makes you so excited about the city's future and looking at the Omaha metro area?
Ooh, changes, I think,
know.
just overall, just the construction market in general. It's
Yes.
probably not for the better. Economically, it's fantastic. Supply chain and availability of subcontractors is a different story. So that, I think, is probably the downside of it. But the upside is that there's so many major developments that are happening around the city that you just see these huge catalysts for change coming into neighborhoods that maybe wouldn't normally have those catalysts for change, but then also the investment from companies that have not historically been in the Midwest that are coming and providing jobs and obviously opening that pipeline for construction. I think those are some of the exciting things that are happening.
Yeah. And the exciting thing is also the push for affordable housing and just knowing that there's going to be affordable homes that are going up that aren't, you know, they're going to look and feel and just be as amazing. And so that's exciting too.
Yeah. Well, and let me ask you, as two, you know, women entrepreneurs, owners, let's just talk a little bit about your team. You know, who you have working with you, who's, you know, who you're surrounding yourself with. Talk a little, I'm just curious just about how you developed that team and how has it grown, and looking at the contribution everyone makes.
Oh,
Listen, I think we are probably the lone wolf in saying that the talent pool for us gets a little scary because we have so many people that approach us of just wanting to be a part of it, which is, it's humbling to have so much talent that wants to be, but we have this like list of like, what's our next hire? And it's always like, we already have the person slated in. It's just a matter of, have we grown to that capacity where we need it yet? So it's really exciting from that standpoint. But then also I think the other thing is that, what is it? Probably about 97% of our executive team are women, which is another unique thing, especially in the construction world. And that I can't say that that's intentional. We just want to hire the best folks that have the highest skills. And for us, it's been women so far.
Yeah. And it's our team has really grown organically. It's one of those things where, like Ashley said, it's humbling and people approach us and they have these amazing resumes. And so it's like, come, let's go, let's do this. Let's
figure out how to
let's figure it out. So it's grown organically and it's been great.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit just about women entrepreneurs. You know, being in, I mean, I've been doing in the publishing business, I mean, honestly, since I was like 10 years old, because my father founded Midland's Business Journal, but really kind of hands-on, you know, in and owning my own business for publishing business for 30 years. And it's interesting how, just how the journey has gone. So I want to ask you to, you know, what kind of advice or what would you tell, you know, young women, or they don't even have to be young, you know, entrepreneurs are looking at creating something in their communities that's going to, you know, they're wanting to have an impact. Any advice? I mean, I think what you just said about building a team was awesome, in that, you know, you've got these positions and your company's growing into it, growing into having those people on your team. But I'm gonna let you two, what kind of advice, what things should women be thinking about that maybe they're not?
Don't put yourself in a box. I think that just go for it. Don't listen to what everybody else is saying. Don't think about what you've been doing, what you used to do. Don't put yourself in a box and just go for it.
Yeah.
Because you'll surprise yourself when you get out of that comfort zone, when you get out of that box that you've put yourself in, or you allow people to put you in, because the sky's the limit and there's so many things out there. So that's one of the biggest things that I would say, just don't put yourself in a box. I had no idea when I was a little girl that I'd be owning a construction company. that wasn't what I thought I would be doing. I knew I'd be doing something in finance or real estate, but owning a construction company wasn't it. So if I would have let myself be in that box, then I probably wouldn't be here. So
yeah, I think for me, it would be don't overplan. I feel like there's a fine line between over planning where you're going to convince yourself that it won't work.
Mhm.
And then just planning to the right stage where you've put all your ducks in a row and you're ready to go. And so I think with Maranda and I, just overall, when we sit and think about our next move too much, we convince ourselves that we can't do that. Nope, don't do it. And then we back out. When we just check the correct boxes, where does it make sense financially? Can we execute? And then go, instead of like, let's think about all the terrible things that could happen on the back end. So don't overplan.
That's great, because I also know that when you attach an outcome to something, it limits it, and it, yeah, like you said, puts it in a box and makes it very narrow versus what else is possible. That opens up space for anything that you might not even be on your radar or that you never thought of. That's just going to pop up. So yeah, that's great advice. So we've got about a minute or so left, and this wasn't on the talking points, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. Looking 5 years ahead. So again, not really knowing exactly what that looks, but what is 5 years from now? Where do you think that you're going to be at, or what is your hope for the future with your company?
I'd say 5 years from now, because we're so young, we will have proved that we're good at what we do. You're going to see all the projects that we're talking about right now, you're going to see come out of the dirt, and you'll know that Blair Freeman's the real deal. I mean, construction takes so long when you're doing huge projects. Development takes so long. I think in 5 years, you'll finally be able to say they were not just talking the talk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, similar to Ashley, just being able to see and feel our impact. 5 years from now, just being able to have that tangible, like
Gives me
we're out
chills a
here.
little bit.
I know we're out there doing it. So
yeah, and again, like when I asked that timeline question earlier, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it takes time. I mean, and development takes time. It's not something that you can, and it's ongoing. You know, you're here and then you're moving on, you know, blocks down, or you know, to different points. So
especially in construction, the pre-work is like 2, 3, 4 years before you see any dirt moving on a site. So it you know, it's a long scale.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, Maranda, I just want to thank you so much. Again, you two are inspiring women. You know, just this conversation has inspired me, and I learned some things too, about how I can, you know, just some great advice and just about growing a team. I think we're constantly learning, whether you're, you know, you started your business in 2018 or 1996. Always learning at what else is new and possible. And I mean, I'm excited for the future, and I'm again excited for everything you both are doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
You are welcome.